So, anyways, yeah, welcome. Tony Delaney, world famous POW announcer. He said he's never done any radio whatsoever, right?
Never.
Never. Well, that surprises me. Yeah. So, anyways, let's get into some news. Before we're gonna do a short interview. We're gonna do an interview after Emery Burning Grass. Or shall we do that interview now?
With Emery?
Well, we gotta wait for Emery,
Yeah,
right?
about
We'll
15
phone him
minutes.
about 9 o'clock. Yeah. So, anyways, so what's in the news? Let's talk about the news recently. Actually, this is from the Lethbridge Herald, dated Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. It says, Cardston physician under fire. So Dr. Lloyd Clark of Cardston is under investigation. He was removed as associate medical director for the southern region and put on administrative leave. What for? Alleged comments he made to some homeless indigenous people outside of the Red Rooster convenience store on Main Street in Cardston. So Clark was reported as saying, quote, all you people need to get jobs. You guys can't keep hanging around here being vagrants. You guys need to get out of here. It was also reported that the doctors suggested the group was looking for prescription T3s in jest. This has been reported to AHS, the Alberta College of Physicians and Surgeons, who said that really if it didn't occur while he was within his practice, then they can't really do anything about it. Eh? Have you heard about this?
No, actually, never. It's the first time. No, I was
Really,
kidding. So I heard about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what crosses your mind when you hear about this?
Well, for myself, the current job that I have, I work with the peacemaking program, and so a lot of the teachings and that I have, they come from our elders, traditional elders, and elders that have been in societies and that. And one of the elders talks about when you know who you are, when you know your legends, your stories, your language, and your songs,
Yeah.
you'll be so full of yourself that you wouldn't want to hurt anyone else with violence or drugs or alcohol, and you wouldn't want to hurt yourself as well. And so when things like this happen, it's all about how we're going to react. If we want to be able to continue to work together, it's 2018. They're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So it's very important to figure out that common ground, to be able to not force religion or spirituality on people, but to be able to say, okay, things like this happen, and comments and remarks have been made towards our people since the 1800s, and so,
Right.
but just recently with social media, our people have become more vocal, and so when incidents like this happen, our people for over 100 years have been silent, and now we're speaking up. You see the Idle No More, you see all these other movements that are happening,
Yeah.
and more at a grassroots level. And so when things like this happen, our people are becoming more vocal, because for too long nobody has been listening to us. And
Right.
so it's very important. My whole thing is for people to know who they are, know their songs, know their stories, legends, and when things like this happen, then it won't affect us. We'll be able to move forward because we know who we are.
Mhm.
And those kind of things, they're not going to affect us. Those kind of remarks to us.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's like national news now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. But it's kind of hard to ignore because we're not the ones that are running the mainstream media, and that's who's covering it right now. Like I want to get a little bit into the A&W story. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Same place, Cardston, Alberta, right? That's where I live. That's where you grew up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still live in the area.
It's just it's all over the news. Like this is the Star in Calgary. It's also the Star is a national news. It was on Global as well. It says there's Fraser Logan, a spokesperson for the RCMP. This is in Cardston. Said there's no record of the A&W incident and could not offer specific details about the case involving the doctor. Quote, the job of the RCMP is to investigate crimes when complaints are made. All calls and all complaints are treated and investigated equally. End quote. So Indigenous activists believe anti-Indigenous racism in southern Alberta isn't being addressed adequately. So the point of this article here is that these people are saying that it's a bigger problem than just these two incidents. Just the A&W. What happened at the A&W? For you guys that don't know out there, this is in Cardston. It's all over social media. I got it from Global News on August 11th. Southern Alberta A&W grilled for alleged racist policy. Grilled?
Yeah. A&W grilled.
They always got a joke, eh? Anyways, basically, there's an older lady outside with a walker, right? First Nations lady. And then a First Nations couple were denied the ability to buy the lady a burger, the lady that was outside, due to the store's loitering policy that they have. So Dredger, this is the white guy that actually wrote the post. I'm not sure if his name's Nick, but his last name's Dredger. He's not First Nations. He buys her food, and after he orders the food, he notices the teller go and just pick up the phone and calling who he assumes is the police. And then he goes out. He has to chase the old lady across the street, gives her the food and the burger and stuff, and he was just kind of shocked by their loitering policy, I guess. And it's said to be Peace Camp, who are camped out in Cardston. They're done now. Did a Global News interview outside the restaurant stating these incidents happen regularly in town to the point where most are unreported because it has become normal to Blackfoot people. Well, that's Shauna Fox who said that, on the news, Global News. So, point being, they're saying it's a bigger issue than just these two incidents, right? You grew up in Cardston,
Yeah, I
right?
grew up in Cardston. Had my run-ins with a lot of people, non-natives,
Right.
and a lot of it was a lot of words said towards each other, and at that time we didn't have social media, so
Mm.
we could just yell at each other and then go on our separate ways. But of course it gets frustrating because of so many incidents that have been occurring, and then the town talks about building bridges, and it hasn't been coming from our community. And now, most recently, has been a powwow that's been happening for over 10 years in the town, and so these kind of things have been happening, and then it finally just boiled over everything with all of the incidents that has happened, and a lot of it is well, maybe, possibly, will never be seen as equal amongst their eyes, and so it doesn't matter what we do. Like one example is our own kind of Board of Education. The 1990s, we had 95% non-natives teaching in the school.
Yeah.
Now you look at it today, we have 95% of our own people teaching, administration, all of that good
Yeah.
stuff, Dave. And so, but even though we're proving ourselves, yet these incidents are still happening.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of things like this happening, like through social media, radio, different people educating regular, everyday Canadians about the importance of treating people right. But when Native people talk and speak up, we're crying wolf. We want more money or whatever it is, and that's not even what it's about. It's the way that I see it is that we want the policies amended, and like even the Indian Act, like those kind of things. Like I know we can
Yeah.
go on for hours and hours and all this. Like the Indian Act is the most racist act that there is out there. There's not a French act, a German act, a white act,
Right.
or whatever it is. But in Canada, we have the Indian Act, and even though that was made in the 1800s, we're still bound by that act.
Yeah. No, we could talk about the Indian Act all day. Yeah. How did we get on the Indian Act there?
it's we can go in all directions, but
yeah.
so that whole A&W, the Dr. Clark thing, like it's I think we need to support the people that are behind this cause, because it's been happening for so long, and so if we just push it to the side, then we're saying that it's okay for those things to continue on. But at the end of the day, the only business we need to support in Carson is maintenance.
Yeah, I think they're safe. Boycott every place but names. Now, I think like the doctor calling on these people there, they're just kind of the tip of the iceberg, you know, when it comes to the social issues that are going on in our community. I think it's actually real indicative of the addictions problem that's been happening. Like here in Lethbridge, it's the big needle thing. That's what's going on around here, right? And people are constantly blaming the Indigenous, First Nations, Native, whatever you want to call us, all the time, right? We're always the scapegoat in these kind of problems. And I don't know, Carson is finally getting called out, I think. It's too bad. I mean, there's a lot of good people in Carson. I don't, yeah. Well, that's what's going on there. It's kind of depressing what's going on in the news right now.
I don't know how to make it fun.
Let's transition into something a little bit healthier for our minds here. So, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Renard Braverock, the first cousin. He's actually in a major motion picture called Alpha. Now, Alpha is in theaters August 17th. That's tomorrow. He's in it, so you could check out the preview. I checked out RottenTomatoes.com. It's on there. It's getting released in Galaxy Cinemas here in Lethbridge, so tomorrow you can go check it out. I think it's at 5:30 in 3D IMAX. If you check out the Tukk Live Facebook page, you can see a link to the YouTube trailer. It's called Alpha, though. You can see Renard right in the trailer, too. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's directed by Albert Hughes. Albert Hughes is a guy who did The Book of Eli in 2010. He did Dead Presidents in 95, Menace to Society in 93, so he's big time, eh? It's an action adventure by Sony Pictures. Renard's filmography, actually, he did some stunt work. He's a stuntman, right? He's done a lot of stunt work, so he's worked on The Revenant. He's done stunt work in there. Hell on Wheels. He did 3 seasons of stunt work for Hell on Wheels. That's a TV show. Lewis and Clark, and I think that was like a mini series. He did stunt work on there. And another movie that's coming out in April 2019 is Hard Powder, another feature film with Liam Neeson. So big things happening for Renard, eh?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the chief on Wonder Woman. That's his cousins. They're all related, those Braverocks. Those movie star Braverocks. They both started off as stuntmen, you know. Like Gene went out to Paris, and he was in that Wild West show,
Yeah.
Wild Bill or something. So he learned how to trick ride out that way, and then he comes out this way and he starts getting roles in movies. I think what show were we watching with Renard? He got killed about 6 times or 7 times. So we were calling him a recycled Indian, right? He'd get killed more than once in the same movie. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, go check that out. That's Alpha. That's tomorrow. This guy's just on his phone over here, if you can believe that. You know, there's like 1,000 people watching you right now, and you're just on your phone.
I was gonna pretend to say that I was sleeping.
Just staring at you. Staring down. Alright, we're going through. We're just breezing through material here. So let's call up. Why don't you do a little bit of introduction on yourself and tell us about Emery Burning Grass too.
Well, my name's Tony Delaney. I'm from the Bud tribe, Moses Laker, proud Moses Laker, and well, the community that we're from. You're from Moses Lake too, eh?
I'm from Standoff, but yeah, I party in Moses. I've snagged in Moses.
So the best way to explain it is where Moses Lake is. The area that I'm from is Moccasin Flats.
Yeah.
So when Carl and his boys would come over, we'll throw rocks at them to keep our area safe.
Yeah, that's true, from Lower Moses.
But Emery Burning Grass, he emceed our powwow thanks to Jason and his wife Tiffany. They invited him down, and That was actually his very first powwow that he announced, and so he's getting more gigs and stuff like that. And him and his wife, they fight lots, Amelia, and so he takes care of all his stepkids.
Really?
In a good way, yeah.
Yeah, oh, in a good way.
Yeah, yeah. He's buys them milk, Pampers, and all that good stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are they?
We'll have to ask him. We'll
Okay,
have to
that's
ask
a good
him, yeah.
question to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pretty excited when I heard that he was gonna get Emery Burning Grass on the show. He's a true blue celebrity in my heart. I saw him at Kainai Indian Days, and that's the first puppet I've ever seen with hickeys. I was proud.
Oh, he's a man. He says he's not a
Yeah.
puppet. Yeah.
Oh, he's not. Yeah. No. Okay. All right. I better not call him a puppet then when I talk to him. Right?
He'll hang up the phone. But he could, just warning everyone, he could kind of get a little rank at
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, well, we're going to have to give him a call on the old Jess FM phone here,
Okay.
so.
Here's,
All right. We'll give it a listen on there. Here's the phone. Check. Can you hear that?
that's loud. How many people are viewing?
What?
How many people are viewing?
I don't know. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it good.
Hello.
Emery, this is your uncle Tony.
Hello?
Hello, Emery, can you hear me? Emery.
Hello, you're wasting my minutes.
Hello.
Every burning
Hello, are you home? Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, how's it going there? This is Carl Braverock from Tukk Live here on Jess FM. Tony's got a couple questions for you, Emery.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll just pass over the phone to him here.
Is this Rocket 99?
No, this is Jess FM.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Tony Delaney around?
Hey, Emery. Hello. Hello, Emery. Can you hear me? Okay, Emery. Hello.
Talking to the mic.
Hello, Emery.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
So we want.
I'm out on the reserve.
So good. So we're live. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you, bro.
Can you hear me now? What about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So we're live, Rocket 99.
Right on. How's it going?
Good. Tanse, Manento. Okay.
What are you calling about?
Yeah, we need. How many days were you locked up? How many days were you locked up?
Hello?
Hello. Can you?
Hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm trying to figure out which mic to talk into.
Talking to both of you.
Can you hear me now?
No, he's in this one.
You're too far.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
There it is.
So how many days were you locked up?
Oh, you wanna know how many days I was locked up?
Yeah.
9 days.
Wow. Where?
24 hours a day.
How many meals did you get?
Yeah, it was pretty rough in there, man. I was hoping you guys would come and help me out.
Oh, Jason was he was somewhere, and I was away too. I was in Saskatchewan.
Oh, well, you know, wasn't stuck there too long.
Yeah.
Only dogs get stuck. But yeah, you know, I made it out of there and I came back home and life's good again.
Good.
But I broke up with Amelia.
You did, eh? Who did
Yeah.
she go? Who did she go with?
My bro Thomas, crazy girl. Can't really trust those crazies, you know.
I wonder. Is there any questions? Anyone asking any questions?
But there's a lot of fish in the sea, you know.
Yeah.
From now on, I'm just gonna stay single and probably just chill out and wait till I find the right woman, you know.
Yeah.
Can't keep doing this to myself.
What about? Did you have any exes? Did you leave any exes at the powwow?
Oh yeah, I got a few there too. You know, I got probably 9 months time or 8.5 months time. You'll see some little Emery burning grasses running around there.
You have any questions?
Well,
for
yeah, there's a lot of good,
But yeah, have you been
a lot of
calling?
good
Yeah.
kind of women. What is he looking for in a woman?
What are you looking for in a woman?
There's a lot of available kind.
In a woman.
What are you looking for? Just anything?
Not just anything. I'm Emery burning grass. Hello.
Hello.
Probably trying to. I don't know. I'm gonna try to dig a white woman now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I just I'm tired of. I tried all these Indians. You know, they keep breaking my heart and my exes, and kind of want to leave that in the past. Because the past is the past, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But I'll probably check out some powwows. I might start dancing again, but
You need a tidy.
kind of iffy because, you know, nowadays the shafting that happens.
Yeah. Those are the powwows that where they pick winners on Thursday.
Oh yeah, the Thursday night winners.
Yeah. See.
Then they use those tabulators.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of the dancers even get advances to get to the powwow nowadays. So, you know, it's not how good you are, it's who you know.
Yeah. What about Emery? He'll probably win everything.
I don't know. I was a champ before, and, you know, I kind of want to give other people a chance. I was a grass dancer.
Did Amelia cut up your outfit?
I don't know what happened there. I think she pawned it because yeah, I'm still looking for my beadwork. Once I get that, I'll probably make it back onto the dance floor.
When you get your beadwork, you'll raffle it off at the powwow.
But I'm not gonna be one of those dancers that just gets the outfit and walks around and tries to snag.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dance for the people, not for the money.
That's the way to be. Hey, we have a question here. It says, where did Emery grow up?
On the streets, I grew myself up. I raised myself since I was 6 years old. The wolves raised me from 4 to 6.
I don't even know how to answer.
Yeah,
Real fun.
that's why I don't really have an education.
Oh, only a K4 or K5 education.
What?
A K4 or K5 education.
A K4. I don't know what that is. Like I said, I only had my bachelor's, but they took those away because I found a woman.
Oh, what about your PhD?
Hey, what's going on over there with the A&W?
Oh,
Yeah, A&W. That we're just talking about that. They don't serve Indians.
well, homeless. And,
How
Homeless.
come?
Homeless
You want me to-
Indians.
You want me to come down there and straighten it out for you guys, or what?
Yeah. Bring Amelia. I think just Amelia could straighten it out.
She's right here right now. You want to talk to her?
Yeah, put her on the phone.
Okay.
She's actually visiting. Hold up. Amelia!
She's visiting.
Hi!
Hi, Amelia, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? Who is this?
This is Tony Delaney. Remember me?
Hey, can you quit inboxing me? You're getting me in trouble over here.
You're the one that's inboxing me and poking me on Facebook.
Well, that must be Emery. But we're trying to work it out.
Oh, good. I'm happy.
So I'd really appreciate it if you quit doing that. Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was Emery with another woman over there?
Yeah, he was with a Hutterite woman.
A Hutterite?
Yeah.
Was she hotter than me?
No, she was just all dressed in black and polka dot dress.
Hey, it's Emery here.
Hey,
Get
Emery,
out
how
of
you
here,
doing?
Amelia. Why are you flirting with my woman?
It was Carl.
That wasn't
Carl
me.
Braybrook. He's actually come from a family of celebrities. His brother was in the movie Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, that's my cousin.
Oh, so he's a famous dude, eh?
Yeah.
We
A
call
big
him
gun?
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not gonna go to NW no more, probably. No,
Good.
you know, I'm there to support you guys. I
Awesome.
used to go there every 20th. Take my kids there, you know, I'd order the mother-in-law burger.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law burger.
What's the mother-in-law burger?
What's on that?
You never tried it?
No, what is it?
Well, it's, you have to try it. I don't want to ruin it for you, bro.
All beef patty pickles with guilt.
Hey, Amelia's getting mad.
Okay. Hey, any last stories for the viewers?
What's that?
Do you have a last story for the viewers? Anyone that's listening in?
Hey, I have a story here for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Amy broke up there a little while ago, and you know, I'm missing her still today, and I'll tell you how we broke up. I was at home chilling out, and she was at work. You know how us Indian guys don't gotta go to work, but the women go to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was chilling out at home, and she walked in, and I was in her bedroom. And you know what she said to me?
What did she say?
Take off my shirt. You know what else she said to me?
What's that?
Take off my skirt. And you know what else she said to me? Take off my bra. And you know what else she said to me?
What's that?
Take off my panties. And you know what else she said to me? I don't want to ever catch you trying my clothes on again.
Okay,
But yeah, you know, life's good. I think I'll be running for leadership again, you know.
Yes.
I did some time. I hurt people in my time, but I want to change now and come back to the reserve and help everybody out.
good. Those 9 days in jail made you think different.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you tell people to vote Emery Burning Grass, you know?
AFN.
AFN for sure.
Yeah.
Vote Emery, Jason, Alexander, Nathaniel, Xavier Burning Grass.
Aho.
And if you see any of my exes up there, you know, give them my number, bro.
Okay. I'll definitely do
Okay?
that.
And if you don't know, now you know. Oh.
Oh, yes. Hey, thanks, bro. Hey. Yeah. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot.
Alright. Okay, check. Next one.
I'll just pretend with this.
It just this looks good, it's for
Yeah.
sure. I'm telling you, it works. It's just not that loud. All right, so that was Emery Burning Grass. Thanks for coming on the show. We got a little bit of information out of Emery. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. Well, yeah. So I hope the boss man didn't mind us talking. Well, you guys, tell him about Emery. What he's who put together the whole thing with Emery Burning Grass?
Well, he started out himself he doesn't have a reserve yet. Soon, so anybody that wants to claim him, can claim Emery.
He's like Nappy.
Yeah, he's like Nappy.
No one wants to
And
claim him.
he's he's been going for about a year, almost a year now, and it was actually Jason Goodstriker, one of his mentors, that helped him
Yeah.
and along the ways, and invited him down, and as well the story is entertainer, especially at this time, 2018. We need more First Nation or Indian or Aboriginal or whatever you want to call it, entertainers.
Yeah.
And so to support Emery and his cause, go to Emery Burning Grass on Facebook, and you can see all of his videos, and
All his videos are on there, eh?
all his videos are on Emery Burning Grass. And
I just found his page today. I just liked his page today. So look for that. Emery Burning Grass. All his videos are on there. Eh?
Yeah,
Even
all
the
of
ones
them.
from Kainai?
even the ones from Kainai.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then even the one when he was arrested, where he was in jail for 9 days.
He got arrested, eh? Heading home.
Blood
for-
Tribe police arrested him.
Did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he stole Amelia's bank card, his family allowance weekend, and
Yeah.
he took his kids' family allowance.
And he just took off the Kainai and
Yeah.
announced our powwow, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. I know, he did a good job, though.
He did. He's awesome. But
He
I don't know what
really
else to
did.
say. Like you never know what he's gonna say.
All right. Well, anyways, let's get on with this interview. This is what the people came to see. World famous powwow announcer. He just finished. What powwow were you just at this past weekend?
Six again.
Siksika. So 2018 is summer 2018. 12 powwows so far. I took this straight from your Facebook.
Yeah.
Red Crow College powwow, Rocky Mountain Turf Club Indian Relay and powwow, Waterton Indigenous Day powwow, Banff Iniskim powwow, Calgary Canada Day powwow, North American Indian Days, Kainai Indian Days, Waterton Traditional powwow, Kwakatus annual powwow, traditional powwow at the Sundance, Cardston Kainai powwow, and Siksika annual powwow. Holy crap. You did all that, hey? And the summer's not even over yet, too.
No.
Yeah. So, tell us a bit about yourself. How'd you get into getting it to doing
I was
this many
actually
powwows?
Jason Goodstriker. I was his driver, and so I
Yeah.
used to drive him to powwows about just over 10 years ago, and then so around here, I would watch Jason and other MCs and that, and it looks easy,
Yeah.
but when you actually get up there and start MCing, so some people told me to
How old were you when you were driving him around?
it was about 12.
Okay.
No, it was about 18.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was driving to all these powwows, and because Jason's been doing it for a number of years and
Yeah.
very well respected, and so one of the things is that I was told is if you want to be MC, take every opportunity that comes your way. So I would do a lot of our Gladstone powwows or round dances that were happening on the reserve. Any kind of event that was happening on the reserve, people would ask me, and I would just do it. Even bingos, and so anything that to be on the mic. And
Yeah.
so last year, I coordinated our Kainai Indian Days, and as well I was one of the MCs, and so a number of individuals have encouraged me to kind of do it as well. Few elders have gave me their blessing from the reserve to be an MC, and
Right.
so to be able to be up there, it looks easy, but when you're actually up there and there's hundreds or thousands of people looking at you, and especially the Canada Day one that I did in Calgary.
In Calgary?
There was between 80,000 to 100,000 people there.
Oh, wow. Where was that?
It was that's a really good question.
Like, where in Calgary was that?
Canada Olympic Park.
Oh, yeah?
So it was downtown Calgary,
Yeah.
and it was a huge event, and
Wow.
like so all the organizers, like, they did a lot of work to make that event happen.
No kidding.
So for and then this year, last year I had a few powwows, but this year it's kind of like as you've seen that it kind of took off, and so it kind of fairly new to all of this, but still learning. I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
And so at first I thought these powwow committees were joking when they were asking me, but very humbled and honored to be asked to announce their celebrations. And I just want people to be able to go there and to enjoy themselves, but at the same time to be as professional as possible.
Right.
The one in Quacatoos, there was actually pretty cool. It's a Cree powwow, but there was a Lakota and a Blackfoot announcing a Cree powwow.
Yeah.
2018, times are changing.
Yeah.
And so just to be there, the people down in Quacatoos actually treated me very, very good.
Where's Quacatoos?
North of Regina, about
Okay.
an hour and a half.
Okay.
About an hour and a half north of Regina. And so all these powwows but I could actually retire now. And I jokingly say that because I announced all the powwows in the Blackfoot Confederacy.
Yeah.
For our powwow, Browning, or Skapi Pikani, and Siksiga.
Right. That's awesome. Well, congrats on that, eh? My grandpa, Peter Bighead, was the Kainai powwow announcer for years. He did the rodeo as well. Now my uncle Floyd Bighead does the rodeo there at Kainai. Called himself the voice of Indian rodeo, eh?
Yeah.
So I kind of got this respect for MCs, and I've done a few MC gigs myself. It's not easy. I've done a couple rodeos, an Indian relay here and there, some music festivals, things like that, eh? But never the powwow, especially the size of the powwows that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
At Kainai, you were also part of the organizing committee, right?
That was
Put
the
together
coordinator.
Coordinator,
Yeah.
so just pretty much headed up the whole powwow, eh? Can you tell me a bit about that experience? I know you got a little bit of flack over a few little things here
Well,
and there.
like,
eh?
one of them, and people are still talking about it. It's okay. One of them was no marking camping spots.
And typically in the past years, you could mark those spots
You
like
could mark
2
as-
weeks in advance,
Right.
eh? And
Or Christmas time.
Christmas time,
You could mark a
your spot.
camping spot. And so this time, I was thinking about our guests, our visitors, people that travel in Friday and
Right.
that don't come in days before. I was thinking about them so that they could have a spot as well where they camp. And the only place that we can make claim to is the Sundance. That's where
Yeah.
our families camp.
Yeah.
And so the powwows, it's not ceremonial in any way to us. It's a social gathering. We come together, we have a good time, and we meet new friends, we see old friends, family, and that travel from far. And so that's who I was thinking about. And so we made that decision, and it actually turned out really good. There was only
Right.
a few people that actually said something, but for the most part, people they just went with it. Even my own grandparents. My
Yeah.
grandpa was pulling down Wednesday afternoon, and he was going to mark his camping spot. And I
Yeah.
told him, well, Grandpa, you can't mark your camping spot because we're not allowing that this year. So he was okay with it. The
Yeah.
next day, he brought his trailer down, and he was okay. And so, but coordinating the powwow last year, we put the powwow together in 1 month.
Wow.
And so to put on a show like that in 1 month, like that's a lot of planning that goes into. Especially, I have a full-time job.
Right.
And then so to be able to still do this, and then back in about January, because the powwow went out for anybody that wanted to apply for it, went out in August of last year, all the way up to about November, and nobody applied, and so I ended up doing it again. And so this
Yeah.
year it's going to go out for competition again. Anybody that wants to apply, by all means, you can do it. And one of the other things is from when Oliver Shouting was coordinating the powwow about 15 years ago, and there's a few members from the tribe that were on that committee. They had the very first ever KFC chicken dance special.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I,
people don't believe me when I tell them the chicken dance special is sponsored by KFC.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
yeah,
eh?
it's a real thing. And so that actually happened about 15 years ago. And then so this year, I was kind of panicking because we weren't, there was no families that were stepping up to put up a chicken dance special. We always have a chicken dance special.
Yeah.
And so we approached KFC, and they said that they would do it, and they sponsored the chicken dance special with trophies. So the winners,
Did they see the humor in it? Did they know that the chicken dance existed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we showed them YouTube
Okay.
videos
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So they didn't initially laugh when you asked them to sponsor the chicken dance?
Well, what it was, how I got them to sponsor was I said, us Indians, we really like our KFC.
Well, yeah, it's at all our weddings.
All of our gatherings.
All our weddings and our funerals.
Yeah,
Everyone's
and
got
yeah.
KFC. Ouch. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, KFC chicken dance special. But yeah, overall, how was your experience though? Coordinating kind of, because this year was huge. I camped there for the whole thing, hey, and it was bigger than I normally notice. I thought.
It was, I think the head staff that we had, we were very, we had staff from different tribes, different nations, and Emery Burning Grass. Emery
Yeah.
was one of our MCs.
You did a good job.
And
You had like 4 or 5 really good powwow MCs up there. Along
yeah,
with
there was
Emery.
Jason. Well, of course, Jason Goodstriker. He
Right.
always MCs our power. We had Russell Red Crow. We brought Russell back,
Oh yeah.
and we had Darren Old Coyote from Crow Agency, Crow
Right.
Montana.
Yeah, he's one of the big voice. Eh?
Yeah, he was the. We even had a we even had a Crow style grand entry,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. And then we had myself and Emery.
Right.
And then even Amelia made an appearance Sunday night.
I saw that. She was pretty pissed off.
She was upset with them. One of the other things was pretty cool. Sunday for grand entry, we opened up the opening prayer with Sam from the Hutterite column. No lie,
Yeah.
prayer is prayer, and so Hutterites are a big part of our community.
They're always at the powwow too,
Yeah.
you know. And they are part of our community. The standoff colony, they contribute to the local economy down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so he said the opening prayer.
yeah. That's new. Hey,
That's
that's got to
the
be a first.
That's the first time for that to ever happen.
Oh wow. I know one thing that I thought was a little strange. The police, right? I think this is the second year they've done it. You could correct me. They set up like a little jail down right on the grounds. I don't really see that too often, eh? They're throwing people in left and right. What did you think of that? Their little makeshift jail. It was made of like a barbed wire fence. They kind of tarped it up a little bit, put a bathroom in there, and their teepee at the front.
Yeah, just to show that they're traditional.
It's a traditional
I don't
jail.
know. But we had a number of police agencies that helped us. Not only, well, of course, we had Blood Tribe Police.
I know there's Calgary
we
police
had
there.
Calgary. We had
Yeah.
the sheriffs, the Lethbridge City Police, the Medicine Hat,
Oh wow.
and so we had a number of police agencies helping us this year. And it was just to show that we wanted everyone to feel safe.
Right.
That's what it was about.
Okay. Yeah, but that little Guantanamo there was kind of scary.
Alcatraz.
Yeah, that little Alcatraz right by the bathrooms. So you're using the washroom, you just get to see people getting hauled by. Eh? A couple of times I was trying to keep my head down, like, "Oh, what's up, Carl?" They're going by and they're handcuffed. What's up, bro? Just trying not to get thrown in myself. So all right, so yeah, that's great. But overall, good experience hosting kind of powwow. Good job, I gotta say.
Thank you.
You did a great job. So let's get back to powwow emceeing, right? Since you're a world famous powwow MC, how did you know? When did you know you wanted to do this powwow MC thing? Is that just brand new, just this year, like a
Well,
few years back?
I've kind of always emceed events and that, and even to this day, I still don't say I'm an MC.
Yeah,
If I get asked, I get asked. My whole thing is, my motto is, as long as people don't boo. The day that people boo while I'm emceeing
Yeah.
is the day I'll quit.
right.
And so I'm still enjoying it, and
You did a rap gig for us one time,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
emceed a whole rap show.
that was pretty here in Lethbridge.
Yeah.
I did that, and so like anything to get out of my comfort zone, stuff like that. emceeing whatever it is, like I try to do as many events as I can, but at the same time, I still have like my full-time job and that, and
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. And one of these days, I'll see myself as MC. But to this, like, I still just do it and really enjoy it. I'm always learning. I've worked with some really good head staff at powwows. They're the MCs. the arena directors, the film
Right.
judge, the dance judge, and all
It
of
takes
that.
takes a lot of people to
Yeah.
keep the wheels turning at the powwow, eh?
Yeah, and actually, if it wasn't for the arena directors, then they're the ones that make me look good. They're the
Yeah.
ones that run the show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're the guys on the floor with the sticks, right?
Yeah.
Keeping everything moving. So when was your first gig? Your first big powwow gig? Don't remember? Is
I don't even
that
remember.
long ago?
It was a few years ago. I did
Yeah.
kind of Indian days.
Oh yeah? Yeah, you've been doing that for a little while now. huh?
Yeah, so I missed a few years there,
Right.
and but like last year and this year I was back, and whoever the new committee is, hopefully I'll be back and seeing our own powwow again. If not, then I'll be somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, be announcing somewhere else. Can't afford me no more, kind I. Right? When's your next gig? You doing another powwow this summer?
well, there's a few performances that are happening, but right now I'm done for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I always gotta ask. Like I get a lot of performers on here, musicians, artists. Like I always ask though, like why? Like why do you do what you do? Like what inspires you to get in front of thousands of people?
So the reason why I do it, I don't do it for myself. I don't do it for anyone else. I do it for my children.
Yeah.
Like just to see like my son say when he grows up he wants to be like me. To hear things like that,
Right.
as well to, and then kind of in a way to inspire our people to show them that anything is possible. From a young little boy who was who grew up in Moses Lake to the Sundance hooking on cars to MCing. I never
Right.
thought that would ever happen. There's a lot of talented people, and for people to ask me, it's always an honor. And so the reason why I do it is to show people that anything is possible. If you treat people good, people will treat you good in return.
Yeah, so that's why you get up there. Eh? It's a pretty high profile gig, you know that,
Mhm.
eh? Like get in front of the power, and they don't trust just anybody
No.
to get up there to do that, right? Because some people are just they say some crazy stuff up there, eh? I think once I get a little bit more mature, I might be able to
That'd
one
be-
of these days
that'd be-
MC a
no,
powwow.
that'd be cool to that.
I think I'm still a little too crazy. I might swear in front of everybody.
Call them the golden age old ladies. Or
You know what? One time, I announced the musical ride in Fort McLeod for years. Hey, I just get on the mic and I pretty much say the same thing, same jokes. But one time, there's a bunch of old people in the audience because these buses come with like 50 old people. They're going to Alaska. They stop, and real sweet people from all over the United States. Anyways, the riders are about to complete a move with the horses, and I just said, all right, hold on to your knickers. The riders will now perform the X movement. You know, blah blah blah. Finished the whole ride. Afterwards, the maintenance man comes over, grabs me. He's my buddy. His name's Neil, and Neil comes up and says, "Hey, Carl, do you know what knickers are?" I said, "No, what are knickers?" He said, "Those are old ladies' underwear." What? There's like 50 old ladies sitting out there, and I knew it when I said it. They all looked at me like, and I thought I made a good joke. Eh? Oh my goodness, I didn't know what knickers were. So see, I'll make that kind of a mistake getting up in front of a powwow audience. Eh? All right. Anyways. All right, so now I know when you get in front of you got a big gig coming up, right? You got to prep, like whatever you do, you got to prep. What's your strategy when you approach going to the powwow this weekend? Like, say you got a powwow tomorrow night, what are you doing tonight?
I have my mirror in front of me, and
Oh.
I start
You ever seen the 1491s? He
Yeah.
announces breakfast.
Yeah.
Hey, ho, coffee. Ho.
That's good coffee. Oh. No, I honestly try not to think about
Like,
it.
do you
then so
practice your jokes?
I already have jokes. Like so some people write down their jokes. I try to remember them, and so there's a few that go-to jokes that I have. Is there's certain time when the pow is happening, there's longer waits to the next song.
Yeah.
So you need jokes that are a little bit longer, or you need to tell a story, whatever it is. MCs, they're storytellers.
Really, eh? But you're also keeping the program going too, right?
Yeah, go. Like,
Yeah.
and so making mention of if there's any specials coming up, any kind of talking about the vendors, the concessions, or whatever
Right.
it is. So just making sure that people are always listening to something where there's no dead air.
Yeah.
It's very important to make sure you're always talking. There's no dead air. Then you introduce the next song and stuff like that. But for myself, I really try not to think about it. And then, and as I'm driving, sometimes I'm thinking, did they am I really gonna do this? Like this summer, after I finished announcing 6 ago, I was telling my family, I'm just waiting to wake up because I can't believe that this all happened.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing, is just to make sure that I'm prepared and that I'm able to tell the jokes or whatever it is, and try to keep people entertained. I want to make sure that our people are laughing, or that they know. Some people, it's their very first powwow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's tricky, right? You
Yeah.
got to remember that. What I was gonna ask is do you go out of your way, you talked about vendors? Do you go take a walk and kind of just jot down a couple menu items? Do you go? Do you study up on the drum groups or maybe the champion dancers? Do you do any kind of research like that?
Yeah, like the vendors. Powwow protocol is MCs. They don't mention the vendors
Oh, really?
unless they bring you something.
Protocol.
Yeah. So you need to be able to bring something to the announcer stand. Then they'll mention your powwow stand or your whatever you're
Oh,
selling.
so they gotta come feed you
Yeah,
first, though.
yeah. So if they don't feed you, then you don't have to mention them.
I feel you.
Yeah. And so the drum groups, there's a lot of drum groups that are very well known.
Yeah.
And so those kind of drum groups you can already pick up on, and you know where they're from, stuff like that. So it's very important to know where drum groups are from, and especially if you could recognize songs, if they're honor songs, and then the different dance styles. It's very important to explain the different.
And
where
how
the
did you
dances
become
are.
savvy to all that? Because honestly, that's tough to remember all where the drum groups are from, like what songs are what. The older songs.
Yeah, and the dance styles, like
The
where
dance
they, where,
styles.
where they originate from.
Right.
What it is sitting down with people and having conversation. Because you could Google all of it. I Googled some of the information, and to me it doesn't really make sense. And,
Yeah.
I think somebody just did it just to mess around with some people. But I actually sat down with individuals that actually come from like the Omaha people. That's where
Right.
the grass dance comes from.
Oh yeah.
The chicken dance comes from here, the Blackfoot people.
Right.
The grass dance comes from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The traditional style, the women's traditional style, each tribe or nation has their own interpretation of that dance. So us Blackfoots, we have our own styles. The women have a way of dancing, the traditional style, and the men's traditional dance, that's a warrior's dance. And so when our warriors would go off to war, and when they would come back, they would dance at their camps, and they would tell their story. They would tell their story while they're dancing, and their wives would dance with them. So that's where ladies' traditional comes from.
Right.
And then, so these kind of things, like knowing about the dances, and actually sitting down with people and offering tobacco is very important. When you're asking questions, you always offer tobacco, and when you do that, you're able to remember it a little bit more, and because you're actually you want to know. Kind of thing.
Yeah. They got I'm pretty sure in Vancouver, is it Edmonton, they got an Indian taco store, a restaurant that makes Indian tacos, which is significant of the commercialization of the Indian taco. So what do you think about the commercialization of powwows? Russell Means, I read his autobiography, he has a real problem with modern powwows. They've kind of lost that spirituality that you speak of, the jingle just being a medicine dance. There's a story about the jingles. It's supposed to take a year, I think, to put 365 jingles one day at a time, and it was only supposed to be a medicine dance. Only certain colors were supposed to be used. I think there's 4 colors that were supposed to be used, and it's been changed over the years into what it is today. How do you feel about that? Do you think powwow has lost its spirituality?
I don't think so. Like to us, to myself, I can't speak for anyone else, but for myself, powwows are where I come to meet friends and family, and powwows, they're not ceremonial.
Yeah, they're
Powwows,
not.
it's a social gathering. But to some other people, that may be their ceremony. That may be where they go and they get all their healing or whatever it is. I don't know.
Right.
But for myself, it's not ceremonial. The only part of powwow that's ceremonial is the beginning of where the prayer, where the elder prays. Other than that, it's coming together. All these different nations in North America introduced their own style of dance to powwows. So if it wasn't for these nations, these tribes introducing their dance to powwows, we wouldn't have any powwow.
Right.
And so there's some things like to us where we know, for example, if we drop a feather at a powwow, we're just going to pick it up. But
Mhm.
there's some other tribes where maybe they'll have a ceremony or whatever it is. But the reason why we do that is because we have our sun dance.
Yeah.
And that's where all the ceremonies happen. And so this is to come together because of everything that's happening throughout the year. There's so many different laws. There's all different kind of things that happen. There's the A&W incident. There's the Dr. Clark. There's all of these other incidents that happen to our
Right.
people throughout the year. So one time we come together to celebrate who we are, and that powwow way of life. That's what it is. It's a powwow way of life. Some people go to concerts. Some people they do their own thing or whatever it is. They go to rodeos. But
Right.
we come together to celebrate the powwow way of life, and that's all it is.
Yeah, that's our community. You're right. It's a different type of celebration. It is a chance when we do. I see a lot of my family that I haven't seen over the past year at the powwow here to spend more time with them. Definitely, that. So yeah, it's a different way of looking at it. Okay, let's get back to our interview here. So you've been to a lot of powwows. Obviously, you know the ins and outs. You're quite savvy to what's going on. The question I got for you now is, what's the common denominator? Like, what never seems to change at every powwow you go to?
The moccasins.
The moccasins don't change? What? Everyone wears moccasins? That's true. I'm talking maybe in regards to the people, the types of people that you meet all over the place. What are the differences?
Both. Everyone likes to laugh. Everybody's the powwow people. They know the importance of treating people good.
Yeah.
And especially teaching. People are always willing to take people in. For example, when I was in Kwakatus, they treated me very good. And then to go over there, and I jokingly told them, I said, I'm going to tell people this is my second home, but I meant it because, like, how welcoming they were, and so to be able to go to different communities and to be able to see how they do powwow, everything's kind of the same. Like, there's a prayer, there's a grand entry,
Right.
and then there's the dances. Some people do things a little bit different, but that's okay. We do things a little bit different, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we're coming together to celebrate this way of life. And so when I think the main thing is meeting new people and getting out of our comfort zone because of I'm not trying to make this sad or anything, but residential school, everything that it did to our people, we're stuck on reserves or reservations for a number of years.
Yeah.
And like our grandparents, a lot of them couldn't leave because they were stuck on the reserve. But now we have that opportunity for all the sacrifices that they did for us to be able to leave and to be able to experience new things by going to powwows or whatever it is, and contributing that way to the betterment of all of our people.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but you're saying, like, so basically everyone just kind of has the same kind of community spirit at every powwow you go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone wants to laugh, definitely. That's quite.
And moccasins.
And moccasins. Yeah.
But everybody, there's the guys that like try snag on Fridays, and Sometimes it doesn't happen Fridays. Sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't happen Saturdays,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't happen Sundays. And one guy that we've been talking about is Patches. So I'm on a mission to get Patches.
Patches?
Patches, he's from Sutina, Sixiga. Patches Pelche, we've been trying to get him hooked up.
Yeah.
With
He's
a
looking
woman.
for a woman.
He's looking for a woman. So
Okay.
Patches Pelche, add him on Facebook.
Look him up. Patches, women, ladies out there,
Yeah.
single ladies. Patches Pelche. Look him up.
Yeah, hashtag Patches will no longer be single.
Yeah,
That's
there we
kind of a
go.
long one. But
it works.
yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Or
Patches
hashtag,
Pelche.
hashtag not that sacred. That's one of our other things that we've been saying.
Not that secret. So let's get back to snagging. No, he's right though. You got like 3 days at Powell typically to snag, right? And I know some people get lucky they snag all 3 nights. So that's pretty cool. The trick is you don't get a hickey on the first night. You know, that's like cardinal rule number 1 powwow snagging tip. Don't get a hickey on the first night, because then you're screwed for the rest of
For the summer.
for the summer.
You walk around with the hickeys.
Yeah, word gets around to all the powwows. You show up at Brock and next week, they'll remember your hickey from last
there's
weekend.
that guy that gets hickeys
Oh,
every
yeah,
weekend.
yeah. Don't snag that guy.
Nobody wants to be around that guy.
No one wants to be around that. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Gets a hickey on the
Yeah,
first
don't
night.
be like Patches.
Patches, Pelchy. That guy's just trying to get a hickey.
Yeah,
Someone
he
help
really
him out
wants a
again.
hickey.
Hashtag Patches will not be single. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Look him up, ladies. Patches Pelche. He's on Facebook. All right. So, back to our interview. Patches Pelche. Do you have a particular dance category that you enjoy the most when you're announcing?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Okay, chicken dance.
Oh, chicken
I
dance,
like,
eh?
just because we're from here and it's one dance about 20 years ago, it almost died out. There
Yeah.
wasn't that many chicken dancers. Now it's like you go all over, there's chicken dancers and it's really building up, but they're all really good. Like I like all of the different dance styles and especially what they bring to the powwow circle.
Right.
But being from here, I'm not being biased or anything, but chicken dance.
Well, chicken dance is a Blackfoot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from here. You go to other places in the country. I remember going out to Ontario. It was a powwow at the Sky Dome, and I saw this thing called the smoke dance. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't know too. I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know the story about it, but it was kind of a strange dance. There's no like bows or nothing in there, and they just move their feet really fast. And I remember all
cool
this.
to watch.
Yeah,
You see
all-
the song like they sing.
Yes, it's quick,
Yeah.
eh? Well, us Blackfoot boys were kind of scared, hey? We were just standing there staring at them. We were speechless. It was a scary dance. Or Blackfoot's in Ojibwe territory. I'm not even sure if it's an Ojibwe dance or Cree or what.
That's one dance I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, smoke dance. It's pretty cool to watch. But yeah, so you go across the territories, right across North America. There's dances that come from particular areas, right? And they've all kind of come together in this amalgamation we call powwow nowadays. Favorite drum group? You got one.
I like them all. There's a lot of drum groups that I like.
This guy's diplomatic. I
I
need
have-
gigs.
I have a number of powwow buddies on my Facebook. And
Yeah.
so, but they're all I like them all. They all bring their own style to the
Right.
circle. So we have like contemporary style. We have traditional
Yeah,
style.
throw some names out
straight.
there. Who's some of your favorites?
Well, this past weekend,
Yeah.
the drum that won in Sixiga was Northern Cree.
Northern Cree,
been nominated for the Grammys.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Junos.
6-7
They
times.
collaborate with a tribe called Red.
Yeah, and our powwow, it was Cree Confederation. They won our powwow.
Oh yeah.
Black Lodge was there at our powwow. There's Midnight Express, Bullhorn,
Yeah.
Bullhorn, and Black Otter. They're from our reserve. And 2 years ago at Rocky Boy Powwow, this is the first time this ever happened, where they collaborated. They made a CD together of straight chicken dance.
Really, eh?
Chicken dance songs, and so that's
Like from a whole bunch of different drum groups?
no,
or
just them two.
Just the two
It
drum
goes
groups?
like the first track is like Black Otter, then it goes Bullhorn, just back and forth.
Okay.
Like that,
Oh wow. Okay, so I got another question. Like, so when you're who does the judging for like best drum group at a powwow? How does that work out?
So it's at powwows they'll have a drum judge, and then the drum judge he selects people who
And is usually the powwow judge an old singer himself?
yeah,
Yeah.
that knows the different songs, the drum and stuff like that, the drum beat, and so he'll select people. It could be 5 people, it could be 8 people, or however many he wants, and they'll judge. And they usually judge intertribals, but as well they judge the contest when the dance contest, and they'll judge on those. So they'll judge throughout the weekend. Then they total up the points, and whoever has the highest amount of points wins.
Hmm.
And it's based on a few things like leads, the the song,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's everyone has a role to play in powwows, and a lot of very successful powwows. It's because of the head staff.
Right.
As long as the head staff communicate with each other, they can make any powwow run as smooth as possible.
Wow. Well, it's huge, huge putting together a powwow. These are big events now. They're not just little tiny community events anymore. Thousands of dollars, thousands of people, right? Strangest thing you've seen announcing a powwow? You must have seen some strange stuff out there.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
So, strangest thing, Wee Man, NMAX powwow, race Tommy Christian, another powwow MC,
Yeah.
and another MC. What's I forgot his name. But they raced with the powwow. Well, I don't know if that was the strangest things, but if anyone knows Wee Man, it was pretty cool to see.
Wee Man,
had the crowd going.
like Wee Man.
Yeah. Well, not actually Indian Wee Man.
I was gonna guy from Jackass.
Oh, and but I don't know. There's a lot of strange things. There's
Well, they that at Kainai Paula they did that race, the relay race on the drummers' backs, right? Where
yeah, the Indian relay.
the drummers were the
Singers
horses.
relay. That was pretty neat. So a lot of times you do things like that to keep the crowd entertained. So you even do like there's so many different things that you could do, musical chairs or whatever. But the Indian
Yeah.
relay is kind of the it gets the crowd going.
And then you had the puppet, right, with the
that,
hickeys.
I guess that was the strangest thing.
That had to.
At
That's the
Emery?
strangest thing I've seen at a powwow.
Yeah.
Is a puppet with hickeys, a co-MC.
No, he's not a puppet. He's a man.
I mean, he's a man. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry.
Oh, the other thing
Sorry,
is,
Emery.
the other thing is, if people haven't ever been to a powwow and they go up to people, don't call them costumes.
Right.
Because costumes, you could go to the Halloween store and buy a costume. These are they're called regalia.
Regalia.
People spend thousands and thousands of dollars on their regalia, and so if you call them costume, you're being disrespectful to the individual, because like this is no Mickey Mouse stuff. This is pretty serious stuff. The powwows, and people travel thousands of miles or hundreds of miles to travel to another powwow, and so. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, that's true. While you're on it, why don't you name a few more powwow etiquette? You know, we got a lot of non-native listeners out there who wouldn't mind checking out a powwow. Like they're open to public, right?
Yeah,
So-
anybody and anyone could go to a powwow. If you want to take pictures, it's a lot of times it's up to the committee, but if people are taking pictures from kind of at a distance, by all means you can, unless the committee says otherwise. Whoever the committee is. The other thing is, if you want to take a picture of anybody up close, if you want to take a picture with them, just ask them, and most of the time they'll say yes.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like you said, it's not ceremony. So, you know, all my non-native friends out there, you're welcome to come out to the powwow. Just ask if you want to take pictures, right? Don't be a weirdo and just run up to people taking pictures. Oh yeah, you can point with your lips. Yeah, you know. Don't point with your fingers. That's rude, hey? Or use your thumb. Like that's my trick too. I point with the thumb, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't complain about how big your fry bread is when you get a taco, because they won't give it back to you.
Oh, sometimes they could feed a small village those Indian tacos.
You know what? The price of them has gone up in a pot. Back in my day, $5 you got a taco and a pop. Now it's $10. You're lucky you get a pop.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because it's not just flour from up here; it's bluebird flour. That's what makes them even better. That's why they're a little bit.
I thought it was like the oil crisis, and like how they can't get the
It's Trump. Just blame Trump.
yeah, somehow we can trace it back to Trump. All right, so before Tony goes, I actually know that Tony's actually pretty savvy on his politics. So I got a story here that's a little bit older, from about a month ago, actually. If y'all don't know, the AFN, what's AFN stand for?
Assembly of First Nations.
Yeah, the Assembly of First Nations. I knew that. Voted in a new Grand Chief, and the Grand Chief, he's reelected. His name's Perry Bellegarde, right? So he was reelected as Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. He won 328 of the 522 votes. This is just over 60%. He's from Little Black Bear First Nation in Treaty 4 territory. That's Saskatchewan. So the thing about it is, a lot of the people when the Assembly of First Nations first started in before 1980s, they were known as the National Indian Brotherhood. And there's a guy named Noel Starblanket. He's a two-time national chief of the National Indian Brotherhood, which was predecessor to the AFN. He claims that the Assembly of First Nations is out of touch, and its aim to be a grassroots advocate has been lost on today's AFN. He says they spend more time with the government than the people they represent. Now, if you watch the elections, where were they, in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Vancouver. There's protests happening right at the elections. There's a young guy who bought some Perry Bellegarde shirts and wrote some stuff on them, caused a big stir, right? Because he bought them off a Perry Bellegarde's, I think his aunt or something, or one of his supporters, and he started writing stuff on there, right? The real controversy is Bellegarde has been criticized for his close ties with the Canadian federal government, but he believes that's the reason he has secured billions of dollars for First Nations people. So it also, at the election there in Vancouver, more controversy ensued after it was learned that the Crown Indigenous Relations Minister, Carolyn Bennett, attended the meeting, and she met behind closed doors with Alberta chiefs. They say they didn't talk about anything about the election. They're talking about something else, but behind closed doors with the Crown Indigenous Relations Minister, right? So running mates against Perry Bellegarde claim there's election interference by the federal government. What do you know about this, Tony? Did you hear about all this?
Yeah, I heard about it.
You know Perry Bellegarde, right? You met him before?
Yeah, I was actually at Quakatoos. He was there, and same weekend he was in Gunny for their
Right.
annual powwow. And so I guess with anyone that is elected into office, there's going to be people that are going to support the individual. There's going to be people that don't support the individual. So everything that's happening, I know it's because of the pipelines, the different the talks for nation to nation.
Right.
That hasn't been happening. So there's a lot of different issues that have been happening, and so I guess we need to support our elected officials as much as possible, because we could yell and get upset about all of this stuff, and end of the day, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be more upset. So I think that whole mindset as Indian people, we need to change that. We need to be able to know how to communicate, because if people don't listen to us, then we always want to one up everyone. We always want to be smarter than the next guy, and so we need to be able to know how to work amongst ourselves, especially if it's the AFN or the other group that's starting up is Treaty 1 through 11, and those are all treaty it's a treaty organization. The
Right.
Assembly of First Nations is not really a full out treaty organization because they have some First Nations that are part of that are not treaty.
Oh yeah.
And so so that's kind of another issue. So there's so many different things with our housing, with our water, with our education, so many different issues, and so I know we want to be able to solve everything overnight. At the same time, we need to be able to know how to work amongst our own people at a local level, a provincial level, and a national level, to be able to get all these parties together. And so, like with our approach, with our program, the success behind it is it doesn't come because of one person. It's everyone that's involved that has invested into the program.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, we find success because of the work that we're able to do. And that's one of the, I guess, our main things. So with that whole thing that's been happening, I guess that's a real political politician kind of answer that I just gave you.
Yeah, you've been doing that the whole show. You're very diplomatic. I'm just trying to throw you something there, and you're just
He'll be like, is that Ralph Bryan talking? Is that Kim Jong Un?
No, I agree with you. I don't know. In my opinion, I kind of think the AFN lost its grassroots base. Really, it started off as a different type of organization, because of the white paper in was it the 70s with Pierre Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's dad. He started the white paper, which was basically going to make all Native people. It was going to get rid of the status, the Indian status that we hold on to, and we're just going to become regular Canadians, absorbed into the body politic, and that was the white paper. So with the AFN, it was a spawn group from the National Indian Brotherhood, and it was an organization of chiefs, right? So basically now to vote for the Grand Chief, who's only supposed to be a spokesman and a lobbyist to the national federal government, only gets voted in by chiefs, right? Anyways, Noel Starblight, the two-time president of the National Indian Brotherhood, says that it's lost its original intent, the AFN. I'm not too savvy on all the policies of the AFN though, so maybe that's indicative.
But I know in their charter, tribes, the Grand Chief can interfere, and so
Yeah.
it should be the same way with like ministers. When there's an election happening, they shouldn't interfere with their election that's
Right.
happening, especially if it's happening that next day and you're meeting with the chiefs as a
You're
minister.
talking about Carolyn?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I don't think that should have.
Yeah, that was kind of weird that she showed up there. She's the indigenous, I don't know, one of the ministers. Yeah, she shouldn't have been there. I agree with that. Yeah. Well. So it's 10 o'clock. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Tony Delaney, world famous MC. Look him up. Hire him for your next MC gig. He does powwows. He does birthday parties, bar mitzvahs. What else do you do? Bingos. Birthings. He'll announce you giving birth. Just kidding. But just one quick announcement. Tukk Live. This is our 1 year anniversary show, so thank you very much for listening, everybody. I will be off the air. Tukk Live will be back on September 27th. So we're going to take a few dates off there. So September 27th, Tukk Live will be back on the air. New look, new shows. Look out for us. You're tuned in to jessfm.ca. Thank you very much, good sir. Great show. Any last words?
No, thank you, Emery and
Oh yeah, thank you, Emery, for
Amelia.
answering the phone. Amelia.
And thank you for allowing me to be here. It's the first time I ever did live radio. Normally I have a mic and talking over.
Yeah, that's live.
I could lie. I could lie, but I feel that I can't lie because there's people behind the screen, and I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, it is different. You got to get used to the mics. Well, thanks for coming on. Jess FM, tune in. Peace out, everybody. Party on. Love, peace, fry bread, grease. Okay. Mix it up. Okay, cool. Actually, checking into treatment. Oh yeah. Tonight. There's nothing to claw.
Where at?
St. Paul's.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah, I was trying to go into Claire's home. These guys right there. They'll be there. Oh, hope they survive. Everyone just knows